Okay, so today I want to talk about a brand new feature of Superpower ChatGPT, text to speech and speech to text. With this feature, you can basically talk to ChatGPT on your computer and hear the response. So let's start looking into that. Before we start, to get Superpower ChatGPT, you need to go to Google, search for Superpower ChatGPT, click on the first link. It will send you to this page where you see a button that says Add to Chrome. You click on this button and it will add the extension to your browser. We also have the extension for Firefox, but the recommended browser for the extension is Chrome. There are some features that don't work on Firefox because they are not supported. So I always recommend to get Chrome or a Chromium-based browser. Okay, so once you install the extension, go back to ChatGPT, refresh the page. The extension will ask to sync your conversation. Once it does the syncing, you can start using the extension. The syncing basically sync all of your conversation from ChatGPT into your own personal computer, which would allow you to use features like folder or search your conversation, things like that. Okay, so I've talked about a lot of these other features, the folder, search, the top nav bar, community prompt history, and other videos in our channel. Make sure to check those out if you want to learn more about those features. But today in this video, we're going to just focus on text to speech and speech to text. Okay, so we're going to start with text to speech. With text to speech, you can basically go to ChatGPT, type something, let's say hi, and now you will see this new button here, this speaker icon. You can click on this icon and it will start reading the response for you. So if I click on this, it's actually playing it in my AirPod. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but hopefully you can. So by clicking on this, you can hear the response being played for you. Now let's look at this setting. So that was like the easiest way to play the response, but there are a lot more settings here that we can play around with. So let's go to the setting. When you go to the setting, you see a new tab up here, which is the voice tab. You can click on that, and inside here, you see two different sections. At the top, you see text to speech, which is when ChatGPT is talking to you, basically reading the text and responding back to you. And then at the bottom, you see the speech to text, which is when you are talking to ChatGPT, your conversation is converted into text and typed into ChatGPT. So let's start with the top section. So for text to speech, like I said, this is when ChatGPT is talking back to you. The first thing you see is the language. You can select the language of the text that you're typing, or ChatGPT is responding to you, and based on that, based on whatever language that you select, the you will have a different set of option for the voice. Now, some languages have only one option. Some languages like English, they have multiple option for the voice. So you can select the voice that you want to be used to read the ChatGPT responses for you. Now, one thing about the language is that not every language is supported with the text to speech, but there is a very good list of languages that are supported with the text to speech. So you can AR, for example, is Arabic. The name that are used here are the standard name for these languages in this text to speech JavaScript library. So yeah, you can select the language, see if you can find the language that you want. Some languages have like different type of countries, like English for India, English for South Africa. Depending on what you prefer, you can select the language, and once you select the language, you can see that it will give you some different option for the voice for that language. English, United States has some of the most options for the voice. There are many voices here, but other languages might have less number of voices here. So that's how you can change the voice of the response. You can also let's see again. I'm not sure if you can hear the response, but I'm gonna let's say select Aaron and English and go back here and press on this, and it is now playing the response with the sound, a voice of character. But you can test that yourself. So let's go back to the setting here. So we talked about the language and the voice. Let's talk about rate and pitch. You can change the speed. Let's say like you want the response to be faster or slower. You can come down here on the rate. You can change that from anywhere to 0.5 or 2. 2 means twice as fast. 0.5 means half as fast as like the regular speed. The default number for these are 1 for both rate, and we also have an option to change the pitch. Like you want to make it like increase the pitch or lower the pitch. This makes the voice like sound more like higher pitch or like lower pitch by changing that. The default option again for pitch is 1, but you can go anywhere from 0 to 2 depending on what you prefer. So these are how you can modify the language, the voice, the speed, and the pitch of the character that is responding to you. There are also two other options here. So auto detect language and auto speak. So let's say you use ChatGPT and like ChatGPT respond to you in different languages. For example, let's turn this on and test it out. So if I turn this on, you can see that these options are going to be disabled because we are using the auto detect language. Now you can go back here and you can say write a sentence in Spanish. Press enter. It's going to write a sentence for you in Spanish. But because this has English in it, I don't like this. I want it to have no other character. So let's try that with GPT 3.5. Okay, now it wrote us a sentence that is like completely Spanish. Now, if I click on this, it will try to automatically detect the language of the response, and based on that, it will select the language and the voice for that response. So again, I'm not sure if you can hear this, but if I play on this, if you can hear this, you can tell that the response was now used a different character and different voice for that. Now, if I change this to maybe French and click on this, again, if you can hear this, you can tell that it was a different character. Now it was a female character this time with a French accent reading the response for you. So that's how the auto detect works. It's very helpful. Like if you're like talking to ChatGPT and getting responses in different languages, or even if you're like just using English, you can always just set it to auto detect, and it will automatically detect the language for you. Now, there's also another option here, auto speak. So the text to speech is helpful, but like you don't want, if let's say you're talking to ChatGPT, you don't want to have to like always keep clicking on the auto speak on the a speaker icon to hear the response. So for that, you can just enable auto speak, and after you enable that, you hear something in the speaker that says auto speak is enabled. I'm gonna try it again. If you hear that, it is saying that auto speak is enabled. Now, when you go back to ChatGPT and like submit something, it will automatically read the response to without you having to click on the speaker icon. So I'm going to do that now again. As you can see, once it finished responding, I did not click on anything. It just automatically responded by reading the response to me. Now, one small note about AutoSpeak is that if you're refreshing ChatGPT, landing on ChatGPT for the first time, you have to click on the page at least once, like anywhere on the page for the auto speak to work. You cannot just refresh the page and like talk to ChatGPT without clicking on anywhere on the page and expect the auto speak to work. This is like a security measure by Chrome to prevent like a speaking without the user like having any interaction with the page. So if at any point you are using the auto speak, this is gonna be more clear when I show you the speech to text later. But if you are not hearing the auto speak response when like submitting something to ChatGPT, just make sure you click anywhere on the page. This is very simple. Anywhere on the page you click on it, auto speak will be enabled, and after that it will like read the responses to you. So that was like a quick note. Another note is that when you click on this, you hear, if you click on it again, it will stop. So at any point, if you are, if the chat is responding, reading the response to you, you can click on this to stop it. You can also click on another one to read the other, to stop the first one. So if I click on this, it start playing it. Then while it's playing this one, I click on the other one. It will stop this one and read the other one. So it automatically detects which one you want to hear. Also, if you don't know which chat is responding, there is like so you can see that the icon like flash gold and it flashes gold and gray when it's responding. But let's say you have a long conversation, you don't know which one is responding. You can just press escape at any time and it will automatically stop responding. Doesn't matter which chat is playing, which message is playing. If at any point you press escape, it will stop responding. Also, if you refresh the page, it will stop responding as well. So this was the text to speech. Now let's go to the more interesting part, which is the speech to text, meaning you talk to ChatGPT. So if you look down here in the input box, you can see that there's the placeholder now has a new section that says hold down Alt to enable speaking. So what we did with the speech to text, the way you can enable it is by holding down the Alt or Option key on your keyboard. You just have to hold it down for 1 second, and you have to be focused on the page, anywhere on the page, as long as whether it is like the input or like the page itself, as long as you are focused on the page, you hold down Alt, it will enable the like listening after 1 second. So I'm gonna do that now. You're gonna see a toast at the bottom, a notification that shows you the ChatGPT is listening to you. There will be multiple indicator on the page that shows the chat is listening to you, and you can see how it works. So I'm going to hold down Alt now. Okay, as you can see at the top, it says started listening. It will go away after a second. You can see that anything that I'm talking about is being automatically typed into the input. You can see at the top on the tab, there is a icon here, the flashing red icon that shows that is recording. You can see the submit button that is now it is showing the speaker icon instead of the arrow icon, which was for the submit, and the chat is like being typed into. Now, if I release, I'm still holding Alt down. This will continue listening to me for as long as I have, I'm pressing the Alt key down. If I release the Alt key, you see it says stop listening. Now nothing is being recorded, nothing is being written into the chat input. The submit icon is now changed to the arrow, and you can see that the red flashing icon from the browser tab is also gone. So those are the indicator that allows you to tell if the chat is recording or not. Now, as you can see, the chat was ChatGPT was automatically listening to what I was talking about and writing it down into here. Now, if I press down Alt again, it's going to continue adding to the input that I had. So you can stop at any time, like release the Alt, then press it again and continue writing things down into ChatGPT. So that's one thing I wanted to show you. After you release Alt, you can maybe edit. Maybe it's not 100% accurate all the time. Sometimes it's not that accurate. So by after you release Alt, you can maybe go ahead and make some edits in the input. So that's one thing. But there are some other setting with speech to text. So let's go to the setting here. Go to the voice. Under speech to text, now we also have a language here. So this language that you see here is different than the text to speech language. This language is telling ChatGPT what language you are speaking in so that it can translate your input into that language and type it in ChatGPT. I was actually very surprised to know that like it actually works pretty good, like depending on like the type of language that you're speaking in. The languages that are supported in speech to text are more than the text to speech. There's a long list of languages, but like different, like Arabic has like all these different countries, like Arabic. Most of these languages have like support different countries. But it has a pretty good support of like different languages that you can use here. So it's by default set to English. Unfortunately, the speech to text doesn't have the auto detect feature. It doesn't support that. Or at least I'm not aware of it. So it cannot like automatically detect your language. Like if you, let's say you're speaking in two different languages, it cannot just automatically switch between those languages. So you always have to tell ChatGPT what language you're speaking. But from my experiments, it looks like if you, for example, select like a different language, let's say Russian, for example, and start speaking in Russian, if in the middle of your conversation you switch to English, it will detect the English between the Russian. But if your default language is English and in the middle of it you speak Russian, it cannot detect that. So that was one thing that I learned after using this. Now there are two options here. So the first one is interim result. So interim result means that it is now on. So it is telling ChatGPT to continuously type your whatever you're talking about into the input box. As you remember, like when I was talking here, if I do it again, if I press down Alt, if I start talking, you can see that it will continuously adding it. It doesn't wait for me to finish talking. It will just keep adding the text into the input. Now you can go to the setting and go to the voice and turn this option off. And by turning that off, when you try to record text again, it will wait for you to finish talking, then it will add this. So let me actually delete this. Stop. I'm gonna start talking. See, it waited for me to finish, and then it adds the text into the input. So that's what the interim result option means. So I'm gonna go back to the setting. I'm gonna turn this back on. I like it to be continuous. We also have another option here, auto submit when you release Alt. So this is useful if you can turn this on, and after you turn this on, when you're talking to ChatGPT, if you press down Alt, it will start listening to you. As soon as you release Alt, it will automatically submit the your chat into ChatGPT. It is very useful if you don't want to edit your input and you just want to have a continuous back and forth conversation with ChatGPT. So if you turn this on and also have auto speak on and auto detect language, if you have all these options on, then everything is going to be automatic. All you need to do is to just press down Alt, start talking to ChatGPT, release Alt, it will submit your chat into ChatGPT. Then ChatGPT is going to respond and it's going to read it back to you. And then you can again press down Alt and continuously have a conversation with ChatGPT. This is very cool. I personally had no idea how much I'm going to like this feature until I actually implemented it and I started using it and realized how good it actually works. So I'm gonna show you, give you a demo. Turn this on, go back to ChatGPT, start a new chat, clear the input. I'm gonna press down Alt and start talking and say something. For example, write me a sentence in English. Released, automatically submitted. ChatGPT respond. It's reading the response. Now, if I press down Alt again, write me a sentence in Russian. If you could just hear that, you could tell that it was a different character responding to me in Russian. So this is very nice because like I'm just having a conversation with ChatGPT by just pressing down Alt, having like saying something, releasing Alt, it will submit it. I don't have to type anything. The accuracy is good enough. I don't have to do any edits. Sometimes if it's like a longer sentence, you might have to do some edits. But in most cases, you don't, especially if you're speaking in your native language, you don't have to like make any edit in what you're typing into the chat. So this is super useful to like have just a back and forth conversation with ChatGPT without having to type anything. I'm gonna do one more thing like write me a sentence in French. Again, automatically submitted, reading the response. Different character. Another note here is that while ChatGPT is responding, let's say you press down Alt and like you ask for a very long response, like write me 3 paragraphs about remote works. So it is now responding, but I'm going to press down Alt and start talking. If I start talking, while ChatGPT is reading the response to me, it will automatically stop the response and just listen to me and the conversation I'm having. So that's another way to tell ChatGPT to stop basically while it's having while it's reading the response to you. Now, if you're pressing Alt down, let's say you have the auto submit on, but you still want to make some edits into the in the response. What you can do is after you finish talking, you can keep holding Alt down and use your mouse to press like click anywhere in the input and try to make a change in the input. So like it is now submitting the response for me until I make a change here. Like let's say I just change this to something else, and or like remove something. And if I release Alt, it will automatically submit the my conversation. I'm gonna stop it again. So this is text to speech and a speech to text. You probably noticed this is a new pro feature of Superpower ChatGPT. You can only use both text to speech and a speech to text if you have a ChatGPT Superpower ChatGPT Pro subscription. But this is one of the features that a lot of our users have been asking for a long time. I wanted to implement it with like very like all the features that I think would be useful here. So I try to like cover everything by implementing this text to speech and speech to text feature, and I try to like cover every feature that I implemented in this video. So hopefully this is going to be useful. Let me know if you have any question, and hope you like this feature. Thank you.